Welcome to the F.D. Bluford Library. Today we'll be talking about APA-style citations. By the end of the tutorial, you'll be able to explain what citing is, know what the reasons are that you have to cite sources, understand the basic format for in-text citations, and the format for the end-of-text reference list. One of the confusing things about citations is that there are many different ways to say the same thing. So for example, if someone talks about documenting your sources, that's the same as giving credit, or giving proper attribution, or just plain citing your sources. Likewise, a reference is the same as a citation, so the reference list means the same thing as your list of works cited. Citing is a way to give credit to where you got quotes or ideas from. When you take any words, data, or fact, or concept, or ideas of any sort from another source, you have to indicate what that source was. That goes whether it's a word-for-word quote, or whether it's an idea from somewhere else that's being said in your own words. We call that a paraphrase. But even though it's in your own words, you still have to give credit because the idea or the data that's being re-expressed came from somewhere else. There are two main reasons why we cite. The first has to do with scholarly continuity, or the history of ideas. We have to be able to follow how ideas have evolved over time. For example, if you're reading Wikipedia and you see a fact, you want to look at the bottom and see where that fact came from by looking at its citation. The same thing goes for your paper. Also, having your citations gives your reader somewhere to go to follow for more information if they were really interested in what you said. The other aspect of citing has to do with fairness. If you use an idea that came from someone else and you don't give them credit where credit is due, that simply isn't fair. It's not ethical. There are two parts to the citing process. First, an in-text citation that comes right after every quote or paraphrase, and then a larger entry at the end of the whole paper. Every in-text citation should lead to the complete entry at the end of the paper. So the purpose of the in-text citation is to clearly identify which end-of-paper entry. In APA style, the in-text citations are parenthetical citations. That is to say, there are little comments in parentheses. And then the end-of-paper citations are references. Here are some examples of parenthetical citations. After every quote or paraphrase, in parentheses you put the name, if necessary, the year, and for exact quotes you put the page number. Sometimes, as you can see from the examples, we've already named the person in the sentence. If that's the case, we don't have to repeat their name in the parentheses. The references at the end follow these general formats. Books are pretty simple. Articles can get a little bit more complicated because you have to have both the title of the article and the title of the magazine, journal, or newspaper that article came from. The basic format for a website is pretty straightforward, but because there's so many different types of websites, you have to get into a lot of little details when you do websites. The best idea would be to look at the examples in the publication manual of the American Psychological Association. That's available at the library. This is an example of our reference list. It includes both the things that we used in our presentation and some supplementary reading that might help you with your study. On a technical note, you need to use the paragraph dialog in order to properly format your reference list. If you're in the new version of Word, look in the Home ribbon for a mark right next to paragraph. That'll bring up the paragraph dialog box, and under indentation, you'll see a choice for special. That'll give you the option to go to hanging indent. And that's what we call it when the first line is sticking out and all the other lines are indented. It's kind of the opposite of the way you normally do a paragraph. If you're interested, we also have a software that can help you with managing your citations. Contact the library if you want to sign up for a workshop on the EndNote software. Thank you for using the F.D. Bluford Library. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions or need assistance.